Hello everyone, my name is Brian. In this video, I am going to talk about important events from this day in history. Let's start. The earliest known depiction of boxing comes from a Sumerian relief in Iraq from the 3rd millennium BC. The first recorded boxing match was between Duke of Albemarle and his butcher on the 6th of January 1681. President Franklin Roosevelt forced Congress to move the nation away from a foreign policy of neutrality. The president had watched with increasing anxiety as European nations struggled and fell to a fascist regime, and were intent on rallying public support for the United States to take a stronger interventionist role. One of the worst snow blizzards in U.S. history started with up to 20 inches falling in a single day on the East Coast, in some areas, and heavy wind gusts causing travel to be nearly impossible. The blizzard lasted for over 2 weeks, causing many schools and other businesses to be closed for up to 2 weeks, and in some areas even the federal government offices were closed for 1 week. The blizzard of 1996 began in typical fashion, as cold air from Canada pushed down and collided with relatively warm winds from the Gulf of Mexico. President Franklin Roosevelt to Congress announces that he is authorizing the largest armaments production in the history of the United States. Committed to war in the aftermath of Pearl Harbor, the U.S. had to reassess its military preparedness, especially because its Pacific fleet was decimated by the Japanese air raid. He announced to Congress that the first year of the supercharged production schedule would result in 45,000 aircraft, 45,000 tanks, and 20,000 anti-aircraft guns. Joan of Arc, the Maid of Orleans, is born on January 6, 1412. She lived only 19 years, but she would become a Roman Catholic saint and a national hero of France for her pivotal role in the 100 Years' War. At the time of her birth, the English and their allies controlled much of France, including Paris, Bordeaux, and Reims. United States First President George Washington marries Martha Custis at White House Plantation in 1759, and Martha becomes the First Lady of the United States. During her lifetime she was often referred to as Lady Washington. She had first married Daniel Parke Custis, with whom she had 4 children, and was widowed by the age of 25. Western China is facing its worst winter in more than 20 years, with temperatures reaching -43°C and more than 2 feet of snow. Transport and infrastructure have been badly affected, and more than 100,000 people have been evacuated after their homes collapsed under heavy snow. Former basketball player Dennis Rodman arrived in North Korea with a team of other former players for a game that would mark leader Kim Jong-un's birthday. Rodman has been criticized for failing to address human rights issues in the country and claims that he is friends with the North Korea leader. The United States government has made it evident that Rodman does not represent U.S. interests in the country. The car that Hitler was said to have used in a parade march was sold today in 1973. The going price at an auction was $153 million, and this car was a Mercedes-Benz sedan. Thanks for watching. I hope this video was interesting, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Comment below if you suggest something to mention on the 7th of January video.